What's up, traders? Anthony Cordelli here, and welcome to the Futures Radio Show podcast. Boy, am I excited for today's episode. We have an exclusive session with the order flow experts themselves. Leo and Job from OrderFlow Labs are going to join me for a comprehensive guide on mastering order flow and volume profile, two valuable tools for trading strategically. Now, whether you're a seasoned trader or just starting out, understanding order flow and volume profile is key to gaining a competitive edge in today's dynamic markets. So join us as we explore the vital aspects of using market generated information, how to spot balance and imbalance, and uncover the key concepts behind volume profile. Not only will you learn the significance of these tools, but you'll also learn practical techniques to seamlessly integrate them into your everyday trading strategies. And make sure you stick around to the end of the show at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be announcing two lucky winners of the OrderFlow Labs subscription giveaway. So let's get started. Today's podcast is sponsored by EdgeClear. Futures Radio Show listeners, that's you guys, can now trade at EdgeClear for a low introductory rate of 59 cents for most futures products and 20 cents for micro products and even event contracts. You could fund with as little as $100 and pair this with Sierra Chart's Teton order routing to receive one of the lowest all-in fees in the industry. Now, this is for new EdgeClear members only, and you can check this out at edgeclear.com/deli. That's edgeclear.com/deli. Now, remember, joining me for today's discussion is the team from OrderFlow Labs, Leo and Job. But before I get them in here, I want to remind all of you that Futures Radio Show podcasts are recorded and then posted on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere where you listen to your podcasts. Throughout today's live discussion, subscribers to the channel can ask us questions in the chat. So please take a quick second and subscribe to the channel. And maybe hit that like button as I look forward to chatting with all of you throughout today's show. Let's bring in my two brothers. I missed these guys. We talked a lot in the past. Leo and Joe, what's up, guys? How are you?
How's it going, Deli? Thanks for having us on.
I'm doing great. I said early when I saw Leo come into the green room, I said he's got the Jimmy Jude effect going on right now, baby. He's got the black on black, man.
I need those pink sunglasses.
Oh, I know. Those are epic. And I know that he's got the headset and everything, too, that goes with it. He's the best.
Hey, both you guys, the hair looks good, though.
Yeah, me and Leo. I mean, Leo, man, you're really picking up your game, dude.
I'm trying. I don't think I could get as good as that hair, but I'm working on it.
Well, we'll have to work on that a little bit for you. But you're getting close, man. I'm actually getting a little nervous. So, guys, order flow. You know, I have a Discord where I talk about order flow a lot. I do a lot of stuff with my Develop Your Edge show, of course, with Futures Radio Show as well. And so many people are always asking me about order flow. It really is one of those tools that I believe is really key for a day trader to have alongside with any of their strategies. I don't even think you need to have an order flow type strategy, but I do think you need to look at it. And maybe we start with you, Leo. I mean, I know that we're going to really dig deep and talk about order flow and volume profile today, but why is order flow so important to you? And why is it important for other traders to take note of it?
Well, I think it's especially important in futures markets because the order book is centralized. So every order, that's transacted, whether you're a significant institution or a small retail trader, is done on the same order book. And because of that, you're able to pick up on clues about, who's in control, who's potentially getting absorbed or stuffed, and where, imbalances are occurring in the market. And that really gives you a piece of edge that you can lean on, one, but also confidence to take your trade where you want to at those important spots for you. So for me, it's just a confidence piece, but also, being able to, see the actual transactions going through. And so you really get a feel for, who's really hitting the market, whether it's buyers or sellers, or whether it's just two-way trade.
Yeah, Job. I mean, that's so important. I think one of the main things that I always take away from using order flow tools is it keeps me in the now. And so when we get to a level that I think is of interest, I want to know if it actually is of interest. I mean, we think that we're so great with our technicals, right? But until we get to that level, we really don't know if it's support or resistance. And order flow in those moments help us with that. What are you, Joe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, the interactions help with the planning aspect of it. So that transaction, that active process of the order flow coming across your tape and DOM, then ultimately develops what we would see in the volume profile and so forth, leaving those clues along the way for utilization and planning, but also pattern recognition to understand when an auction is uh, finished, exhausted, or preparing for continuation.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're going to look at the charts today, but Leo, I want to just go back to you. Why OrderFlow Labs? What makes you guys special versus everybody else out there with these order flow tools?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things that what when we created OrderFlow Labs, it was out of the desire to take sequences and events that we would see within order flow, whether that's on the time and sales, the footprint, or the DOM, and have that coded, for our own use, right?
Yeah.
And so I think what is exciting to me about what what comes from that is, you're able to work with 2 or 3 traders, in a lab, so to speak, and a developer, and say, hey, go through all these different scenarios, get it coded, and then, go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, is this what we want to show, or what we're looking for when we're looking for exhaustion, or when we're looking for a potential turn in the market. And so I think, the initial impetus of all of this started from a place of, hey, we're a bunch of retail traders that got together and created tools for our own personal use. And that it just became this thing of like, okay, well, this is really powerful, in our opinion, and we wanted to make it available for other people to use. in
Yeah.
addition in addition to that, I think some of the elements that we're going to be talking about today is not any of the proprietary stuff that we've come up with on our own, but taking the everyday market generated information and automating various setups, such as going from balance to imbalance, or taking pieces of information from the volume profile, or just looking at last week's high low VWAP and those types of things.
I love it. I mean, the customization and the more precision that you guys help in getting the signals that people want. So it's not a lot of interpretation at those moments. I've worked with you guys a lot over the years and really gotten to know you guys and how much pride you guys take in and really making the customization such a huge part of it. And so I think we go to the charts, and let's add that here because that's what a lot of people want to see. They want to see some of these live examples of what's happening in the marketplace and how order flow and volume profile can really help them in their trading. That's what this is all about. And so I don't know which one of you guys wants to take the reins first, but talk to us about what we're seeing.
Yeah, so I can kick us off and then turn it over to Job. So what we're looking at is a 30-minute chart that goes back to October 17th. And then on the right side, we have a couple of volume profiles. So there's a 35-day volume profile farthest to the right, and then a shorter time frame volume profile that's actually from this leg down that starts up here. So this is a leg to leg volume profile on a larger time frame. So we're looking at a specific leg of the market. That's something that we've automated as well. And then within here, we have different elements of MGI and of what we've named autoplot. And so one of the elements of autoplot is allowing you to map out balance. And so here we have this balance area that was created, the balance high 44.23 down to 42.94. This is derived from the volume profile for RTH, and basically anytime we have overlapping value, we're going to box that off as a balance area. So what that's doing for you as a trader is just allowing you to go, okay, well, we're in balance currently, and so how I trade a balance area versus how I trade a breakdown or a breakout is obviously completely different, right? So you want to know when you're in balance or periods of balance and when you have a potential for a breakout. And so I think today is actually a really clean look at that, because we have this balance area over here to the middle that we broke down from. Broke that 4,200 level that I think everybody's talking about, or everybody. I see a lot of people. I don't trade ES anymore, but you can see this is a very important level because we broke down from it, retested it here, and then sold off a little bit, and now it looks like we're trying to break out back from it. So maybe we're establishing support there. But so now what I've mentioned today is that we have this established balance area that started on the 27th. So we have a couple of days of overlapping value, and now today and this morning, we kind of tested the top side of this from above, and now we're currently breaking out. We'll see if that holds. But that's the idea, is that the overlapping value from each RTH session is going to create your balance area, and because that rule is automated, there's no subjectivity to it, right? So you're able to rely and know that how this thing works, and not apply your own subjective thoughts to where balance is or where balance isn't. It's just all automated, with what we refer to auto plot. So that's what we're looking at here in a nutshell.
Couple questions on this. First of all, I want you to explain to everybody what imbalance is before I get to the other questions, so they understand it. Some people may not.
Sure. So imbalance on a longer time frame is really where the market is essentially repricing itself. There's in most periods of the market, we go through two-way trade where buyers and sellers are interacting, right? Imbalance is where one side of participation is incredibly stronger than the other, and we can go in a one-way direction. A lot of people will refer to a trend day as being out of balance, but essentially imbalance is where there's an incredible breakout or an incredible breakdown after a period of consolidation. So one-way directional trade.
And you talked about the overlapping of the regular trading hour sessions. I use regular trading hour sessions for a majority of my volume tools as well. Why do you choose RTH, which is regular trading hours, versus all hours?
It's simply because that's where the majority of the volume is done.
Okay.
So if I look at 8:30 Central until 3 p.m. Central, the majority of the volume is transacted during those hours. And, that's where we want to focus, what we're looking at.
Got it. Okay, Job, I want to go to you now. I remember when we were talking a lot just over a year ago, we were doing some stuff on PYT, that's Place Your Trades for those that don't know. And everybody was like so entranced with some of the things that you were putting out, some of like these, different ways you were looking at order flow and the way you looked at the S&P, and everyone was just like, man, Job he's unbelievable. So I know maybe you're going to show us some of those setups, or what do you want to show us today?
Well, we actually have a setup that's in front of our screen, and this is one that came into play this week. Leo mentioned the leg-to-leg volume profile that's coming with OrderFlow Labs, and I'm going to speak on how that represents and shows this activity here. But if someone were to utilize something, well, for the most part, a lot of people use VWAPs and different things like that. Now, there's also some people who might anchor a VWAP from a swing high or swing low, and that shows you that volume weighted average price along the way from that location. Now, isolating the legs of the activity and then shifting and having a profile that's painting that picture along the way, it's not only granting you the information of how value shifting along the way, but it's also showing you what was left behind and how that plays a role. So if we look down at the bottom of this in this balance area, we're going to go from balance to imbalance. Balance where rotate back and forth. Imbalance is going to be represented on the volume profile by a thin area or low volume node. And if you look at the inside volume profile, down at the bottom you have a notch. You got a node, and you have a very stark LVN, low volume node. Where we open the week here, okay, we went through that Globex session and we just bid up, 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 up. However, what did we leave behind us is that area at the bottom, that high volume node, is now not in a good position. And so during that RTH session, any look back into that, which is seen at the moment, the average person would say, oh, this is getting scary. It's getting scary. We're at the bottom. That until that area is breached, which also provides a very clean area to define risk from, this is a return of that edge profile, an LVN return setup style, that's an area to bid as an exhaustive look on a profile itself. This is something that comes into play day in and day out. And the way it's utilized is I want to see that waterfall type activity go into it to create it, but I want to see it not settle there. I want to see it move right back. And so what do we do at the end of last week? We waterfall down in, and then boom, we gap up away from that. So we left it out. And so we have that little V of activity, leave the high volume node down there. And so when RTH opens, we come back and we test into that LVN. That's where I want to seek positioning based upon time and sales, based upon that interaction. That we would utilize some of our tools like the Dominator or the EAD in order to help us position based upon those sequences that Leo was talking about. Now, with respect to the information that was left behind us on our way down, we had on this leg of a profile, we can also see where those initiative locations occurred. They're going to be represented again as those low volume areas. And so as we backtrack and work into these distributions and start creating more of a Gaussian look per distribution, then it's also allowing us to see how far we can potentially push before we pause. Autoplot along the way is going to let you spend more time focusing on what you need to be focusing on for execution, but taking care of the aspects of automating that location and that information that you shouldn't, you shouldn't be spending the majority of your time just back and forth with that, but instead focusing on your craft itself.
That's interesting there. So do you look at this low that we've had now as a good low?
For the time being, and to tell you the truth, if you ask me any day of the week, or is the S&P going to just drive out of here and go up, 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 or is it going to slam down and go down, down, down? I don't really care. What I do know is that based upon certain edge case of activity, such as the one that I discussed there at the bottom, I know how to interact with it. And along the way, as we're pushing up like we are right now, until we can recover any of those areas of initiation, there's no, and it's not happening. So so as we're moving up right now, we would have to auction back inside in order to then build and determine a direction from there. Currently, can't fight it. But then again, 2 o'clock today, Eastern. Who the heck? I mean, we could see both high all-time high and zero. So
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, I know it's a little off topic, but I mean, I know today is FOMC day, but do you guys even trade an FOMC day? I know you guys are pretty regimented in what you're doing. Do you look at these days as tradable days or no?
I traded the
I
first 40 minutes.
Yeah, I'll definitely trade the open to see if there's going to be, a good move to trade. And then usually the afternoon isn't really worth trading.
And why is that? I mean, I know that you got a lot of people out there that love to dip their toe in the water in FOMC. I'm not one of them. I didn't even trade today, but maybe we talk a little bit about some things you'd be looking at going into FOMC that could possibly trigger you guys to get into a trade.
So if I was trading the ES, I think the one setup that I would be looking for is if we, after this would be obviously post announcement, is a retest of this balance area / support, just because of how the volume is built around it. You've got this little LVN right here. Plus we know it's the top of this balance zone. This was obviously overnight. And so I would be looking for a slam down into here to potentially find a bid. That might be the only thing that I would be looking for, honestly. But
What are you trading now? You're not trading ES.
NASDAQ.
You junkie. You moved into the NQ?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 2 summers ago. The volatility on ES just died down significantly. And I think Job made the transition at the same time I did.
I do go back and forth with it myself. I'm just busting your chops, but then NQ to me, when it gets really whippy like this, I find it to be a little too much for me. Like when it gets busy, I just only look at the ES, maybe a little bit of Russell every now and then. But maybe we take a look. Is there anything else that you guys want to show us in ES, or if there's? I'd love to see if there's some things you're looking at in NQ too. I'm sure we got a lot of NQ traders out there as well.
Oh yeah, I don't have any NASDAQ charts open right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, what else do you guys want to show us on what you guys have from OrderFlow Labs side?
So this is a chart book that I have been building on. So it's a little light as far as the OFL tools go. But if I could just show a few things here. Everyone, I think, including myself, knows the importance of having market generated information on their charts. And what do I mean by that? It's yesterday's high low, overnight high low, VWAP. There's the IB high low, there's the IB mid. There's all types of information that we can take from the market, because the market just gave, it's information derived from the market. So the nice thing about what we're doing is we've automated all of that. I know, I use Sierra Chart, there's NinjaTrader and MotiveWave that we're on. They all have the ability to support, open, high, low, close, and things like that. But what's unique about our MGI tools is that they automatically update each day, removing the old information so that it's no longer there. So what you're looking at is what we would consider a traditional execution chart. And you have, prior day high, prior day close. We have our opening range here with an opening range mid that I've highlighted. So this is something that, that I would be leveraging. Shout out to Pax, for that opening range breakout trade. But the nice thing is that all of this is, automated so that you don't have to spend, 20, 30 minutes every day, marking, what was yesterday's high or yesterday's low. It's already done. And then outside of that, we have some of the OFL proprietary tools. So this one is Delta Map that you're seeing color the candles. And this is essentially a way to look at the market through the lens of the footprint and the time it sales over time, and really allow you to visualize how aggressive buyers or sellers are interacting, and when those peak moments could develop in the market. So we just look at today's open. We had a really aggressive sell right off the bat that got pretty much exhausted right away. And then we had, buying just really stepped in a couple of minutes after the bell. And, we can see that as we go from dark blue to bright blue, that becomes more aggressive buying, right? So we have, offer, people, buyers lifting the offer, as far as the interaction goes between buyers and sellers, it's like, the middle ground, right? And then once we get to a brighter blue, it's just nothing but buying. And so as we're able to visualize that, we can, see, hey, they started buying the open, defending this, what I would call OR mid, and really broke out of, overnight high, got a few pullbacks, and then, you see this exhaustion back to overnight high, kind of that retest, and then they brought it right back up. So this is called Delta Map. And so it allows you to basically take what you might be looking for on a footprint and a time and sales, and basically paints that picture for you onto the candlestick chart itself. And so this is a Heikin-Ashi chart that, allows, for me, I just like to be able to eliminate some of the noise. So that's why I use a Heikin-Ashi chart. But yeah, it's a pretty basic setup here. But again, I don't trade ES, and this is just something that I've been, building a little bit from scratch. So this just has a couple of things that we have. And then this last piece here, you see this blue and these red zones. This is more of an automation thing. It's not proprietary. It's we call them buy sell zones. So if we're looking at this, leg here from the high and we're pushing down, where would we want to engage for a potential reoffer? And that would be, in the sell zone up here. And we can see that, it's positioned right against the upper edge of this LVN. And if I'm looking at price action, I can see this little distribution right here that would be leaning against. So if I was trading ES and we traded up to 42.40, I'd be looking for that order flow in real time. So that's where I would clue into the time and sales and the DOM and see if there's a potential for a reoffer where, sellers re-engage up in this area.
Got it. So what's determining the red and the blue? I mean, I know it's basically cumulative delta within the bar. And instead of seeing, a delta chart, you're doing it within the Heikin-Ashi or the candle or whatever you want, right? But what's determining? It's just net cumulative delta on there. So if it's dark blue, it means like they might be buying a net 100, let's say, versus if it's bright blue, they might be buying net 1,000. Is that kind of what
yeah, I mean, it's not cumulative delta throughout the entire session. So it resets at certain threshold periods. But essentially, it's going to accumulate delta from a certain look back, if you will, and allow you to see, when that delta is getting extremely aggressive or whether it's just consolidating, because sometimes you have just choppy areas where there's really not much to pick up from it. But we're looking for those extreme, that extreme pressure to come in.
Job, I'll go back to you. How do you use this chart in your trading, Job, if you use it?
Yeah, so not only does it highlight some of the intensity of the positioning, and as Leo mentioned, it's not simply the delta per bar, but it's over a specific period. But as you're testing into a zone, I like to see an exhaustive move come into play in order to then push out of. And so a very aggressive order sequence into a pause where the opposite side participants go ahead and absorb and begin to initiate back. And so with this here, if you're seeking entry, then utilizing that exhaustive look against MGI or against any of our pivot levels or the buy sell zones is a great way to see that turn there, that change of hand. But if you're already positioned and it's moving in your favor and going as it begins to exhaust and show that shift, then you can begin to make decisions on taking some off the table.
It's interesting. When I talk about order flow, sometimes it just goes back to exactly what you had just said. I like to see the buyers really step in strong at resistance and not get through it, right? So what you're saying is you want to see the exhaustion. You want to see that bright blue or that bright red back into a support or resistance because it shows that the market, it's almost a puke, right? You're trading.
Yeah. There was what we chat, I don't know, I'm on 7 Zooms a week here in OFL, and it's fun to get to know a lot of the members, but and I just keep coming back to this because one individual brought up, was trying to reword what I was trying to express, and I think they did it really well. I want to see aggression into a stall, a flip on the pull stack, and then a pressure with counter delta.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of new traders, it's hard to think that way because what you're thinking is you're like, why do I want to be selling when the buying is the strongest? right? In futures markets, I think that is something different than maybe you would see in stocks. I don't really trade stocks in the short term, so I wouldn't necessarily know that what I'm saying is accurate, but I definitely know on the future side that we always noticed, and this goes back to floor days and all the way through all my electronic years, is that anytime you saw a surge of volume into an area that you liked and it doesn't push right through it, that's the time where you want to get out because somebody else had to get out. Somebody else got out into an area, and now your area actually matters. I said this from the beginning. I said it doesn't matter if it's support and resistance on your chart going into it. It matters after it trades the area. So getting
Right.
into the area is so huge. I think that's always going to be my biggest thing with order flow, is because it allows me to identify how I want to be position sized at an area, right? And if they're
Right.
pushing through an area with a lot of volume, then you're either really small right away to see how it reacts later, or if it goes up there and, like you said, aggressive and then stalls. That to me is like, okay, I might want to be in a little bit more of a hurry to get in here now because it's stalled. And so I think that is, for me and my trading, and I think a lot of other traders, it's one of the most simplest concepts you can take away from order flow. Guys, is there anything else that you guys want to share with us today?
I think we
Bueller?
went through it, unless you want to show the single prints and things like that with auto plot, but
What else do you have in store for us, Leo?
selfies.
Yeah, feed
He's looking at his
pics.
hair in the camera.
No, I think we really, covered the majority of it. I think next time, we come on, I think it would be fun to, do a little bit of an overview of the amalgamation of what we have, because obviously, autoplot is just showing you, balance, imbalance, important MGI. This chart here is just showing you a couple of things. And so I think it would be cool to take, how do you put the entire puzzle picture together, and, with planning and preparation, and, put it all together so that you as a trader have a really good roadmap on, how you can work through your morning plan and all the way through the execution of a session.
Yeah, and I definitely would like to look at some NASDAQ stuff too. So we are committed to doing that back with OrderFlow Labs. Now, Leo, Job, tell everybody. I mean, this is really nice of you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for doing this. It's really nice of you guys. We are giving away some stuff. You guys are giving away some stuff for OrderFlow Labs. What are they going to be getting?
So we are giving away 2 packages of 2 months free of OrderFlow Labs. So you'll be able to join, get 2 months for free, dive into the tools. We find that most people that have the best success utilizing OFL, it usually takes at least 2 months to really, internalize everything. And so that's what we're doing.
Awesome. And so everybody, just so you know, make sure you get on the email list at anthonycrudelli.com. We're doing a giveaway once a month with EdgeClear, and you can learn a lot more about what EdgeClear is doing at edgeclear.com/deli. The winners for today are, drum roll, Mike Cowbell and Vietli Vu.
All right, congrats.
Congratulations, both of you. OrderFlow Labs will be in touch with you. We will give you their information. And for everybody else that participated in the contest and in the live stream today, thank you guys so much. Check our email. We will be following up with another promo for OrderFlow Labs. These guys are great. As you can tell, they really know their stuff. And really just, I think we've said it throughout the whole conversation today. It's so important to have order flow in your trading as a day trader. I think it's one of those key elements that people, I think they find a way to find a technical strategy, And then they get to this moment where they're like, you know what? I'm pretty good at technicals, but I'm not as great as I want to be in the moment execution. And as I've said many times, and you guys have heard me say this, and I know you guys say this as well, it's all about the execution. And order flow is one of the greatest tools out there to help you become a better executor of your strategy. Make sure you follow these guys on Twitter. Leo and Job are two of the best. Leo, Job, tell everybody where they could find you on Twitter. We'll start with you, Leo, and with you, Job, and then also the website to learn more about OrderFlow Labs.
So my Twitter handle is at ES_F_Leo. That's because I used to trade ES, and so whatever.
He'll be back
now. He'll be back, maybe. But and you can find us at OrderFlowLabs.com.
Yeah,
Job?
My Twitter handle is at book_of_Job, and feel free to reach out and also scroll down through there. I try to leave some thoughts and different ideas and things like that out for the Twitter world.
Absolutely. Give these guys a follow. Check out OrderFlow Labs website as well. Also, you can follow OrderFlow Labs on Twitter. These are some of the good guys out there, everybody. So make sure you follow them. Leo and Job, you guys are great. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you again for the giveaway, and everybody that tuned in. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us.
Be smart in this Fed day, everybody. Don't get crazy. Be forced to trade. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to Futures Radio Show. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Never miss an episode. Go to anthonycrudelli.com and get on our email list for show notifications and for free content that is exclusively for subscribers. Also on anthonycrudelli.com, you will find tons of videos and education on trading futures, options, and crypto. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Opinions expressed are solely my own and my guests, and they do not express the views or opinions of my sponsors. Futures Radio Show is produced by Crudelli Productions.